Okay, so to get started we will need 1 cup of plain flour, half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of coconut, 125 grams of melted butter. We'll pop in the microwave for 1 minute and then add 1 tin of condensed milk and 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. And not to forget, you can get all these ingredients at your local supermarket in the cooking aisle, and we most importantly need, I like to use a good quality dark chocolate, so today we're using a Nestle brand, and probably need about just over half a block. So first we sift the flour into a large bowl. Okay, now we'll pop our butter into the microwave for 1 minute. We've done that, so now we can add our half a cup of coconut. I don't always like to use a full cup, I like to do just a little bit less. We'll pop that in. Now we can, using the same cup, use our half a cup of brown sugar. Again, not firmly packed, just a lightly packed cup, half a cup. And that should be enough, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, no need to pat it down, it's just nice and lightly packed, and in that goes. And then to that we can get our melted butter. It's not quite fully melted, but it's still quite hot, so by stirring it with the metal spoon, that will quickly melt the rest of the butter that's in there. So yeah, just a couple of quick stirs around to quickly dissolve all that butter, and then that will be right to add. Just make a well in the centre of the dry ingredients, all the butter out, and we can give that a stir and mix till all ingredients are combined, and we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like to prepare to go into the tin. Okay, so I do like to prepare my pan or tin before placing the mixture in, the base. So I just do a lightly grease on the tin, just like so. And I've got my baking paper. I've cut the corners so I can press it in and fit nicely into the tin, nice and snug. No air bubbles, and those corners will fit nicely and smooth, just to allow it to cook nicely, have a nice chewy edge, and stop the mixture from sticking to the base of the pan. So once that's all prepared, okay, so now we can put our prepared base into the prepared tin, scoop all the mixture out like so, pat it down with the back of a spoon. You can also spread it all to the edges, getting a good even mixture in the pan. You may come across some of the brown sugar in clumps. You can leave it in if you like, or I like to take mine out. Yeah, and just using the back of the spoon, which is smooth, you can press the mixture into all the corners and get a nice smooth finish. Pressing it down firmly, like so. You can also use the back of your hand to press it down, and that will ensure that it is not extra smooth. And we might just take a break and we'll come back and show. So the tin is now ready. We're just using the back of the spoon to give it one last smoothing over, and we're ready to pop it into the oven for about 10 minutes at 180 degrees. Now we've got our saucepan ready to make our caramel filling. So to that, over low heat, we add 60 grams of butter, 1 tin of condensed milk. They don't make the tins as big as they used to, So we need to make sure we get every piece or every bit of milk out of the tin. It's always nice to lick the spoon at the end if there is a little bit left for a nice little sweet taste and treat. We'll scrape all of that out like so. There we go. Now to that we're going to add the golden syrup, which would be 2 tablespoons. I don't actually have a tablespoon, so I use a dessert spoon and just do 3 sort of scoops of golden syrup. And here's number 3. In she goes. And as I said, this is over a low heat, and this can all be done whilst the base is in the oven. So you're pretty much preparing and stirring the whole time for about approximately 10 minutes until the caramel filling is all combined. Now our base is out of the oven, looking beautiful and golden. We can now add our prepared caramel to that. In she goes. Nice consistency, still a bit runny, but a lot thicker than what it originally was. You can use your spatula to make sure we get all of that caramel out and around the sides. As you can see, it does stick, so using our spatula to scrape down the sides and the base and make sure we get every last bit out, like so. Scraping away. Okay, now we can use the spatula to spread the caramel to all the corners. Make sure it's nice and even consistency. Smoothing it out, all the edges. We don't want to see any of the base. That looks good. And now goes back into the oven for another 10 minutes until it's lightly golden and bubbling on the top. So here we go. Here it is. It's looking beautiful and golden, slightly bubbled. That will give it a nice chewy taste. So now we can just allow that to cool. So now we're getting ready to do our simmer bowl to melt the chocolate. So we've got some water in the bottom of the saucepan, glass bowl on the top. We can switch it up to high, that's perfectly fine. We'll probably use half a block and a row of the chocolate, which we'll try and get into there. Then we break it up into even sized pieces so it all cooks evenly at the same time. Okay, so once that's all even, can leave it, and here we go, it's ready by the looks. Using the metal spoon, give it a stir around. We've got a great consistency there. I would say that's pretty much ready. We don't want to get any steam of the saucepan vapours into the chocolate, because that can make it go quite yucky. And so now we're ready to spread the chocolate onto our caramel base. And just wipe the excess moisture off the bottom of the bowl. And then we are ready to pour the chocolate onto the base, and also again using the spatula to make sure we get every last bit of that yummy chocolate out onto our slice. Scooping it out, spreading it evenly. Just get the last bits out of the bowl, like so. And then once we've done that, we can use back to the metal spoon to scrape all the excess off the spatula. We spread it out now, nice and evenly, all the way to the edges. And once this is all spread nice and smoothly, you can leave it on the bench to cool, or for even quicker, pop it in the fridge till it's nice and cool and set, and then it'll be ready to cut and serve. Nice pattern on the edge. Just making sure. There, ready for the fridge. And voila, here we have the finished product.